Oh, okay. Looks like no one's here yet. But those of you who are gonna watch this, happy May 4th. Happy Star Wars Day. Um, I just thought I would live stream my thoughts about Star Wars as a whole because it's May 4th and I love Star Wars and yeah. Also, I'm not really good at going live, so I might seem a bit awkward, so just bear with me. Um, but again, happy May 4th to you all. The 4th is with you. Um, hope you all are having a great day. I hope you're doing something special to celebrate Star Wars in some way. Um, like me, between my college classes, I was watching a bunch of clips from Star Wars, like Return of the Jedi and Andor and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Um, and that was really fun. And I know there's like different types of Star Wars fans out there. Like there's some people who really hate Disney Star Wars, or probably I haven't heard of anybody who's actually said they love it, but I'm sure there's people out there that do. Um, I'm just somebody who loves it all, who just loves Star Wars because it's Star Wars and because it's awesome. And yeah, so I'll just, I don't know exactly what I'm. Oh, this is so weird live streaming. Anyway, um, I just want to say these past few years, there's been a whole lot of Star Wars stuff coming out, and it's been awesome. I mean, I mean, okay, so for me personally, my parents didn't even let me watch Star Wars until until I was like 11. And when I did, I immediately fell in love with it. And I'm just like, yes, yes. I started. Uh oh. Something's going on. Tap. Something went wrong. Tap to retry. Retry what? Okay. Never mind. Anyway, I started with the original Star Wars movie from 1977. Um, and then I went Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, then Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, then Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and then I think Rogue One. And then uh, I went and saw Rise of Skywalker in theaters, and um, yeah, and like I know there's people out there who like really hate the sequel trilogy, and I I I do think out of all of the trilogies, it's definitely the weakest, definitely my least favorite, but I don't hate it. Like The Force Awakens, I think is legit. Like I think it's really good. Like the story of a, I feel like it's about time that there was a story of a stormtrooper who defected. Um, so I really liked that. Um, I know there's a lot of people who really hate The Last Jedi, and it's interesting. I wouldn't say I hate it, but it's not my favorite. um, I it's interesting because, and it goes for like any Star Wars show. Um, whenever I think about certain Star Wars shows like Last Jedi or like Kenobi, when I think about them, like no, they're not that good. But then when I actually watch them, I enjoy it. Like I enjoy watching it. Man, I guess that's how I feel with the Last Jedi. Um, like it's fun to watch, and I think there are a lot of good things about it. Um, like I really like Rose. Um, I think she's a super cool character. Um, I think she adds a lot, but I think it's stupid that they totally got rid of her in Rise of Skywalker. Um, I really would have preferred that they used the original Star Wars idea, Duel of the Fates, which had a totally it was the movie that was going to come out instead of Rise of Skywalker, but it was before J.J. Abrams changed up everything. Um, anyway, so after I watched those, oh, and I remember I saw Solo in theaters too, and it was my favorite movie for quite a while. I thought it was great. Partly because it was one of the first PG-13 movies I had seen. Um, I think the first was Superman. Um, oh, there's someone here. Hi. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So after I watched all 11 of the movies, then I think the next thing I watched was I watched Rebels, and I absolutely loved it. I think I think it's very heartfelt. I think it's very sweet. I think there's a lot. I think all of the characters are amazing, and it's a show about literally the best Jedi ever. And when I say best Jedi, I mean Kanan Jarrus. He's like the best Jedi ever. He has like one of the best written stories. Um, maybe maybe more than anybody except Ahsoka. Um, but yeah, great show. And they introduced Grand Admiral Thrawn, which was originally from a book in the '90s that I had read, really enjoyed. Um, okay, and so after I finished Rebels, it was actually okay. It was really interesting because it also I know I'm live streaming and I'm sorry if I'm like being really random, but this is just kind of my thought process. Anyway, uh, the day I finished Star Wars Rebels was actually really cool because it was also the same day I finished reading the Lord of the Rings books. So I don't know. I felt like because I finished both on the same day. I felt like I really accomplished something. Um, and so after Rebels, I watched Clone Wars. I probably should have watched Clone Wars first, but that Clone Wars might be my favorite Star Wars show. Um, and uh-oh. Okay, why does something keep going on? Retry. Okay. Um, and I think at the same time I watched Mandalorian, the first season, which I really enjoyed. Um, and then it'll kind of I don't remember the order of any of the other shows that I watched, but I've seen all of them. I've I saw I saw all of them. I really liked them. Like when I guess okay. The Mandalorian is really what got my mom into Star Wars, and she didn't really seem into it at first, but once she watched The Mandalorian and saw Grogu, that really got her into Star Wars. So then we kind of watched everything else together, like Book of Boba Fett, which I absolutely loved. I think Boba Fett is a really cool character, um, and I think it's so cool all the characters they brought back. Which okay, it's a little bit weird. I thought it was a little bit weird that they like went away from Book of Boba Fett for two episodes, like episode 5 and 6. It was just about Din Djarin again, and about like Grogu being trained uh, and with Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane, which was pretty cool, but no Boba Fett. And I'm like, what the heck? But then by the finale episode, it all tied together, and I'm like, okay, that was weird, but that was totally worth it. So yeah, I thought Book of Boba Fett was great. I thought it was fantastic. I think they made Boba Fett have a really cool story, and it was interesting how like we first see him come back in season two, and um um it, it it was I was just not surprised to see Boba Fett still alive because he'd survived in the comics in Star Wars Legends, and like way before we even watched Mandalorian, my dad kept insisting Boba Fett's alive. He's got to be alive. He's too skilled to let himself be swallowed by a Sarlacc, and so to get a cool story about what happened after he got out of a Sarlacc was just great. Loved it. And then um, watched Kenobi. My mom really liked Kenobi. Um, and I did too. I think it's out of all of the most recent Star Wars shows, it's probably the weakest. Um, it it was a little bit disappointing. Like, okay, for me, I am super ticked about like the Grand Inquisitor. Um, I did not think he did a good job playing him. Like, he did a good job playing an intimidating bad guy. Rupert Friend, I think is his name. He did a good job playing an intimidating bad guy, but he didn't play the Grand Inquisitor. I don't feel like. And what's interesting was Rupert Friend said he specifically did not watch any of the Star Wars Rebels episodes, um, so that he could give his own take on the Grand Inquisitor. And like, if you're gonna create a new character, go ahead, do that. That's fine. But if you're gonna do something that already exists, if you're gonna play a character that already exists, you need to give him the same personality. Granted, it's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna like nobody can play the Inquisitor as good as Jason Isaacs. But I was disappointed in his performance of the Grand Inquisitor. But other than that, I thought Kenobi was pretty good. Like they Leia, absolutely adorable. Loved her. She was awesome. Um, and I think it's cool. She's that actress is gonna be in an upcoming movie called Boogeyman, I think. But yeah, I loved Leia. I thought I thought Kenobi was fair. Um, I didn't love the third sister. Thought she was a little bit over dramatic, a little bit over the top, and I thought she was just kind of annoying. But like, oh well. Then and then we watched. I did watch Resistance. Um, like I said, all the more recent shows kind of blur together. I don't know which order I watched them in, but I did watch Resistance, and I know there are some people who think it's kind of stupid. Um, and but I liked it. It like it. Granted, it's a kids show, so it might not be that appealing to an older audience like Clone Wars or Rebels was. Um, but it was still a good show. It was cute. I loved the characters. Um, I love Niku. Food is good. Food is good. I like food. Food, 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 food. I love them. Um, but like it's the worst out of all the animated shows, but only because the other shows are better. It's not because Resistance is bad per se. And my family doesn't watch the animated Star Wars shows altogether. It's just the live action ones. The next one that of course, that my family watched all together was Andor, or at least we started it. Um, we um, my mom didn't love it, which is totally fine. Um, but the rest of my family and me finished it later, and I think fantastic. I loved Andor. I loved it. I thought they really brought the human into Star Wars. I felt kind of emotional in like the prison breakout scene. Um, I thought that was very very touching, very motivating. I thought all of the characters did a phenomenal job in that. Like, oh my gosh, Luthen is like I don't even have words to describe. He's fantastic. Stellan Skarsgård portrayed him perfectly. And Cassian too. Like he's awesome. He's so awesome. And the other good thing Andor did was they gave you a simp, Cyril Karn. That awkward speech to Dedra Miro was quite something. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but you should go watch it if you haven't seen it. Um, I thought the Battle of Ferrix at the end was quite amazing. Marva motivating them to fight the Empire, and like Korv like comes over and knocks over B2, and they're all like, "No!" And then they start like the epic fight, and I'm like, "Okay, that's awesome." Now in real life, I would think that was awful, but like when I'm watching it in the show, it's awesome. Like I don't like those kind of I don't like. I'm I'm gonna be blunt and say that I don't like riot. I don't like rioting. I don't think rioting is a good thing. But I thought in Andor, I thought that was very. I thought it was very fitting. Um, yeah, Andor was fantastic. Brought a lot of good characters. Um, and then most recently, I watched Mando season 3, uh, which was the worst out of all 3 seasons, but still very very good. Only because the first 2 were better. But I already covered that in a past live stream. Um, oh, and Bad Batch. I never mentioned Bad Batch. Love Bad Batch. I think all the characters are wonderful. Um, Personally, my favorite member is Echo. Um, I thought I thought Bad Batch was amazing. It was amazing, and more recently, season 2, amazing, but also heartbreaking. They really brought they really made uh, Tech more human in the second one. It was less about just tinkering with machines and more about actually like his personal relationships. And then to kill him off. So sad, so sad. Um, but yeah, um, I thought it was very sad that Tech died. But when it comes down to it, I'm gonna say my personal favorite Star Wars character is Darth Maul. I think he's super cool. I like his deep voice, Kenobi. I don't know if I'm doing a good job. But I love how he's always a survivor. How how smart he is. How he's able to like create a criminal empire. All of that. And yeah, really really cool stuff. I love Darth Maul. Um, Oh, hi, Mom. um, I was just talking about you, Mom. Anyway, what was I saying? Um, so that's kind of my experience with Star Wars. I guess I can also I have figurines too. Like I collect them. I don't. And it's funny because I collect them, but I don't really play with them. But I collect them. Oh, hang on. Okay, that's my grandma calling my sister. What was I saying? I collect them, but I don't play with them, and I take them with me everywhere. Like I carry this giant space backpack. Um, I take it everywhere I go, and there's always Star Wars figures in it. But I never I never really even get them out. I never really play with them. But it's just I feel a sense of security when I have them. Like Din Djarin. Um, let me see what else do I have. A lot of them are like since they're just piled in a backpack, they're kind of some of them are sort of broken. Um, like Darth Maul, uh, Finn. He's probably my favorite character in the sequel trilogy. What else have I got? Oh, okay, not in my backpack. Here's Lot Dodd, from Phantom Menace. Where's his hat? I'll find his hat later. Let's see, got K2SO, but okay, it would take hours for me to go through my whole Star Wars collection, but yeah, that's kind of my experience with Star Wars. All of the shows, my collection. I have a bunch of books. Wearing a Boba Fett Hawaiian T-shirt. Um, but yeah, that's my May 4th very awkward live stream. I hope you can enjoy it. Um, I think I'm just gonna end it here. Thanks for watching. Bye.